Annie Oakley, born as Phoebe Ann Moses in Ohio in 1860, gained fame under her stage name thanks to her exceptional gun skills. At just 15 years old, she discovered her talent for marksmanship by defeating a traveling marksman in a shooting competition. With her daring feats and ability to captivate audiences, she ultimately became a renowned sharpshooter in her own right. Oakley's legacy continues to inspire and fascinate people to this day. In the town of Tombstone, Arizona, a stagecoach from circa 1882 remains a symbol of the Wild West era. Founded in 1879 by prospectors, Tombstone gained notoriety for the clashes between lawmen and outlaws that occurred there. The most famous of these was the gunfight at the OK Corral, which has become legendary in American history. Even today, Tombstone continues to attract visitors who are fascinated by the town's rough and tumble past. Bass Reeves, born into slavery in 1838, defied the odds and became the first black deputy U.S. Marshal west of the Mississippi River. Throughout his career, Reeves made over 3,000 arrests and killed 14 outlaws in self-defense. However, he preferred to bring criminals in alive whenever possible, so that they could face trial. Reeves' dedication to upholding the law and bringing criminals to justice has made him a celebrated figure in American history. Henry McCarty, also known as Billy the Kid, is widely regarded as one of the most infamous outlaws of the Wild West. Born in 1859 in the Irish slums of New York City, Billy the Kid traveled west to make a name for himself. He soon found himself in trouble with the law, having committed multiple murders. Billy the Kid eventually became a member of the Lincoln County Regulators, a posse of deputized men in New Mexico who sought to bring the killers of ranch owner John Tunstall to justice during the Lincoln County War. It was during this time that Billy the Kid gained notoriety for allegedly killing as many as 27 men, although the actual number is likely lower. In 1881, the law caught up with Billy the Kid when he was shot and killed at the young age of 21. Despite his short life, Billy the Kid has remained a legendary figure in American history. When he was 17 years old, Jesse James left his home state of Missouri to join the Confederate guerrillas during the Civil War. After the war ended, he returned to Missouri and became the leader of one of the most infamous outlaw gangs in history. Although Eastern newspapers romanticized James and portrayed him as a modern-day Robin Hood, there is no evidence to suggest that he ever shared the proceeds of his crimes with anyone outside of his gang. This photograph shows the arrest of outlaw Belle Starr by Deputy U.S. Marshal Charles Barnhill, on the right, in 1886. The National Police Gazette, which gave her the nickname Bandit Queen, widely publicized Starr's story during that time. This photo depicts a large heap of bison skulls, believed to have been taken in the 1870s during the United States Army's efforts to subdue Native American resistance in the western part of the country. The Army believed that hunting bison was a crucial source of food and unity for these tribes, so they encouraged the widespread and indiscriminate killing of buffalo herds to deprive Native Americans of their communal hunting practices and the food they relied on. At one point, there were an estimated 60 million bison roaming the Great Plains. However, by the end of the 19th century, only around 300 remained. Congress eventually stepped in and outlawed the slaughter of the last remaining bison herd in Yellowstone National Park. Today, efforts are being made to conserve and rebuild bison populations in the United States. This photograph depicts the construction of a railroad bridge in Green River Valley, Wyoming, with Citadel Rock visible in the background. The photo is estimated to have been taken around 1868. This photo from 1903 shows a black sheriff on horseback in Pocatello, Idaho. Despite as many as 1 in 4 cowboys in the Wild West being black, their stories have often been overlooked in favor of those of white settlers. Right after the Civil War, being a cowboy was one of the few jobs available to men of color who wanted to do more than work as elevator operators, delivery boys, or other similar jobs, due to the limited employment opportunities for people of color at that time. Following the end of the Civil War, many freed slaves migrated to the American West, seeking to escape their past and find new opportunities where the rigid prejudices of the East held less sway over their lives. Calamity Jane, born Martha Jane Canary in 1852 and died in 1903, was a renowned frontierswoman and scout. She was known for both her kindness and her fearless reputation, as well as her confrontations with raiding parties from various Native American tribes. Calamity Jane was also associated with Wild Bill Hickok, although it is unclear if they were ever married, as different accounts provide conflicting information. Chief John Smith, who also went by the name Kabi Nagwi Wens, meaning wrinkle meat in English, was a member of the Chippewa tribe from Cass Lake, Minnesota. Though some reports claim he lived to be between 132 and 138 years old, he likely passed away from pneumonia at just under 100 years old in 1922. A covered wagon was a popular means of transportation used by settlers to carry their families and belongings as they migrated westward in search of land to establish their homes. During the mid to late 1800s, these wagons were a frequent sight as a growing number of Americans and immigrants ventured into the uncharted western territories to build a new life. A cowboy is preparing his lasso as he drives a herd of cattle across Kansas in 1902. Geronimo, a renowned Apache leader, fought against the U.S. and Mexican Army forces along the U.S.-Mexico border for much of the latter half of the 19th century. Despite being captured multiple times during his life, his final surrender in 1886 resulted in him being a prisoner of war for the rest of his life. Geronimo became the centerpiece of U.S. propaganda, including parades and photo shoots such as this 1887 picture. He used these events to support himself financially after being confined to a reservation in Arizona. This is a portrait of a gold miner whose identity remains unknown, taken around 1851 in California during the gold rush that began in 1848 and had a significant impact on the landscape of California and the western United States. His is a mugshot of the notorious outlaw Butch Cassidy, captured in 1894. Chinese immigrants played a crucial role in the development of industries in the western United States. However, their presence also sparked racist resentment among white settlers. As a result, the United States passed its first major anti-immigrant laws to prevent further immigration from Asia. Judge Roy Bean, known as the Law West of the Pecos, presided over his court inside a saloon located in the desert of southwest Texas. Known for his peculiarities, he is often depicted in movies, TV shows, and books as a hanging judge, but he actually only sentenced 2 men to death, one of whom escaped before he could be hanged. The Klondike Dance Hall and Saloon, constructed for the Alaska-Yukon Pacific Exposition in Seattle, Washington in 1909, had to be shut down temporarily because it was deemed too authentic.